I'm Insomniac, and this is the Seiko SNZG13K1. Alright, so the So the SNZG13K1, it doesn't have an actual name, at least not that I can find. It's just called a Seiko men's quote-unquote military-style watch. It's kind of like a field-style watch. It is a 23-jewel automatic mechanical watch. Let's go through the watch piece by piece, then I'll give you some of my impressions and see what kind of score it gets. Okay, so a super quick look at the packaging. Comes in a kind of blue, leathery type of box. I actually like this. Nice colors, decent presentation. Inside, it was on this pillow before I was wearing it, which is actually kind of leathery or vinyl or something. Inside you have your Seiko tag, and you have your booklet. Don't know why it's so thick, didn't care to read it. I generally know how to use a watch, but that's what's in here. The watch is mostly brushed stainless steel, including the 3-link bracelet. The sides, though, are polished, and part of the back, which I will show you in a few. Measurements show 42 millimeters in diameter, around 12 millimeters thick, and about 49 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. Your lug width is 22 millimeters, tapering down to about 20 millimeters, and a pretty respectable almost 4 millimeters thick for the bracelet. You have an exhibition case back on this watch, and I really like that, but one of the few things I don't like about this watch is that instead of engraving some of the information about the watch around it, they kind of have this printed or decaled text right on the glass. And it kind of dirties up the look of the exhibition case back. In my opinion, there is a 10 bar, which is 100 meter water resistant. See if I can get that on camera. There you go. It has a 7S36 movement, which is a standard Seiko workhorse movement. As you can see, there's a rotor there. It is an automatic self-winding movement. Of course, that is one of my other small pet peeves. Of course, I love an automatic movement, but I don't like when they are automatic only. You can't wind this watch, so if it does stop, you have to shake it for a bit.
Just move it up and down like this.
Not a huge deal. There are tons of automatic only watches. I own a couple. It's really not a giant burden, but a small thing that I don't love. While we're talking about the movement, let's take a look at how accurate it is. I've had it on the scope for about a minute now, and it is running at an average of plus 22 seconds per day. It's a very clean, very simple dial. Really big numerals there, very easy to read. Then you have a large chapter ring, or you could even possibly consider that to be an internal bezel under the mineral crystal there, and it has some really good lume on that raised section, which I will show you later. The hands are a great length. I love the fact that the minute hand reaches almost all the way out to the chapter ring, so does the second hand, and the red tip on the second hand kind of gives it a sporty touch. I do like that. Now you also have a 24-hour index printed right below the 12-hour index. You have automatic 23 joules and 100 meters printed at the bottom. And you have a slightly raised Seiko 5 logo right there under the 24-hour. This watch also has a day and date function, and I do like the fact that it has that white outline around it. Kind of separates your day and date functions from the rest of the dial. The running second hand has a good smooth look to it. Really, this dial is kind of everything you need and nothing you don't. Really easy to read. Taking a look at the bracelet, like I said earlier, it is a standard stainless steel 3-link design. It is brushed on top, polished on the sides, which kind of really flows with the sides of the case, which are also polished. And it's your standard snap closed locking deployment clasp. You pull this up. You have the 2 buttons on either side, you press those. The Seiko logo is pretty well engraved at the bottom of the clasp. I do like that. Overall, it looks really good. It is actually very comfortable on the wrist. It does feel very high quality, very balanced. It fits well. It has a good substantial feel to it without being necessarily heavy. Overall, it just looks and feels very good.
And before I get back to wrist impressions and all that, let's take a look at the Lume. With minimal charge, it stays nice and bright, and in my experience, it stays bright for a really long time. For something that's not a dive watch, and for something that is in the cheaper price range, I'm actually really impressed with this Lume.
Another cool thing about this watch is it doesn't really lean too far in any one direction in terms of style. It's a very neutral watch. You can really wear it with anything. You can wear it with a button down, you can wear it with a t-shirt, you can wear it with different colors and styles of clothing. It kind of looks right with everything until you get too dressy. Clearly this isn't a dress watch. You don't really want to wear it with a full-blown suit. Wouldn't look terrible with that. Definitely not a tux watch. And most importantly, in terms of experience while wearing this watch, every time I look down at it, the whole read of the time and date is just really quick, really easy, really clean and clear. And as you saw with the Lume there, you could imagine that even at night, especially if you're going from a brighter setting, you know, to outside in the parking lot or in the car when it's dark or whatever, you can still read the time and pretty easily. So in terms of its core function, which is to give you the time, and in this case also the date, and to give it to you cleanly and accurately, this watch hits the mark. Now another way this watch hits the mark is price. I got this watch brand new for $139. So for a Seiko with a workhorse automatic movement in it, that is a steal. If I were going to rate this watch on a scale from 1 to 10 Mike Tysons, I would give it an 8. It's not the most beautiful or most impressive watch that you're ever going to find, but it does everything it needs to do. It does it well. It's one of those watches where I can't really see anybody regretting the purchase, especially for the price. So yeah, if you have one of these watches or any watch that you want to talk about, leave it down there in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Of course, I would like to bring you a lot more content soon, so if you would like to support the channel, it would be a huge help if you go to the link at the top of the video description, check out my Patreon page, sign up over there. On top of helping out the channel, you will be automatically entered into my monthly giveaway, and one of the things you could pick in the monthly giveaway is watch accessories. So take a look at that down there in the video description, sign up, see what I have to offer, and I will see you all at the next one.